In 2005, we were granted this particular project from MMR HCS. I was head of the Department of History at Ramnaran Ruya College, Matunga, which is affiliated to Mumbai University. At that time, Gorakshakar, who was one of the governors in the Board of Governors of MMR HCS, that is Mumbai Metropolitan Region Heritage Conservation Society, he discussed with me the idea of taking up some project with regards to fountains or pyavs in the city. Because in our discussion, the point that came was that many times architects take into consideration the bigger heritage structures, but these smaller objects get totally neglected. While these smaller objects like fountains or pyavs, they have got lot of artistic architectural value. They have a particular character, and that character also can reflect Indo-Saracenic architectural styles or the water charity principles that various communities had. And accordingly, with his support, we in Ramnaran Ruya College, under my guidance, gave a project proposal to MMR HCS, and then that was approved, and then we started having a search of the fountains and pyavs. It was a very great kind of experience because it was a three-dimensional experience, as one could see. Like, we had to locate the fountains and pyavs as they were mentioned in history books, old history books. For that, we had the team of students, some ex-students also, and some of the ex-students were given the job of locating these fountains from history books. Some of them were given the job of actual surveying in Mumbai, on Mumbai streets and all that, like whether the location which is mentioned in the history book is the same or it is different. In a sense, maybe in the road widening, the particular fountain or pyav got shifted, it was kept aside or something like that. And I must specially mention here that one of the team members, Mr. Sandeep Mayekar, has been extremely instrumental in getting so many pyavs to us, literally speaking, in a sense that he could locate some of the bypassed fountains and pyavs in the city also. When we say pyav, it would be human drinking facility, or it could also have an enlarged kind of meaning wherein the trough also is concerned, that is animal drinking. Many times we will find that there are some structures in Mumbai where human drinking pyavs were there, and the water that would spill out from that was accumulated in a kind of channel at the bottom, which became then the trough for the animals. So I find that in Mumbai, the pyavs that we inspected had a very peculiar kind of character of water storage also. Because when the human beings were drinking water, the water which was spilling out should not be wasted at all, and then it could be accumulated in the trough as such. Now, there are various factors related to this as to how these pyavs came into the city of Mumbai. But one thing I would say, that for all the communities, you take for example Parsis or Jains or Hindus, all of them have in their religion a very interesting idea, and which is a very holistic idea, that if we make these water facilities available for the human beings or animals, then they themselves or their forefathers would attain bliss in the heaven. So in Jainism and in Hinduism also, it is called Purta Karma. That is, it's the kind of belief that you are completing your work here of feeding the animals, or especially if feeding is not possible, then at least have the water facilities for the animals. The major water works in the city of Mumbai, actually they are not in the city of Mumbai from the point of view of geographical say jurisdiction or so, but the major water works which are available for Mumbai's drinking water, they are Vihar and Tulsi, but they came much later. Before that, we have got information about many water schemes, early schemes of water supply, which are mentioned in my book also. In 1855, there was a water supply committee established by the British government, about which very few information has been known, but archival sources give us a lot of information about that. And understanding the increasing population in the city of Mumbai, then it was thought that we should also increase certain sources of water. So some new tanks were constructed, and then by and by you will find that the fountains or the pyavs, they are constructed near such tanks. So maybe the tanks were providing the water supply facility to these fountains or pyavs. Now the question arises as to why you have the pyav when already the tank was there. You will find that the tank was used by the animals and human beings both, as there were no taps established in the flats, in the regular houses and all that, and mostly we have got the chawl system where the taps also came much later. So how would the people drink water? They would drink water from these public kind of water resources. And then as far as the trams were concerned, you will find that earlier trams were horse driven trams, and the horses required at regular intervals some kind of halts for their fodder and water, and that is why also many of these troughs and the human drinking pyavs are found on the tram routes also, which is very interesting. So if we can map the tram routes, we can also understand many pyavs and the fountains there. When we had the survey of the pyavs, it was very interesting to find that there are many emotional attachments to the pyavs. I can mention here some, like for example Devidas Prabhudas Kothari pyav and the fountain, which is getting restored now recently. It was erected by Devidas Prabhudas in the memory of his daughter Lilavati Kothari. Then we have got another such instance at Ray Road, which is in the Food Corporation of India Godown, where you have got Loji Meghji. He erected this pyav in the memory of his daughter Kusumbala. Another very like mind blowing and very emotional kind of attachment that we find is near Fort Market, and that is Ratansi Mulji. Many times this particular pyav has been misquoted as Mulji Jetha, but that is not actually Mulji Jetha, this is Ratansi Mulji. And Ratansi Mulji was a very successful broker in cotton business, and at that time when he was having a roaring business, he had the pain of losing his only son, which was 14 years old, and his name is Dharamsi Mulji. So he decided to commission F.W. Stephen, who had designed VT station, Victoria Terminus, which is now CST station. It was very unlikely in those days to commission such a brilliant British designer and architect, because architect's fee would not be affordable by the Indian businessman. But then he poured money for that also, because he wanted a kind of memorial for his son, and that is Dharamsi Mulji. You can see the statue of Dharamsi Mulji standing above this particular fountain, which is a very elaborate kind of structure. That is also restored now, I understand. So these are the kinds of examples of patronage. There are quite a few which are there. And then here I would also mention a very interesting donation made by Sir Kovashji Jahangir, who was called Ready Money because of his roaring business as a broker, and in many industries he had obtained money, and he thought that he should pay back to the city. This is very interesting. So instead of constructing anything for his family member, he donated nearly 40 fountains to the city of Mumbai, and our team could locate at least 8. We are still trying to search out where the rest of the fountains are. I feel it's both a combined effect. There are a lot of stories. More than that, I would say that there are many beliefs of people which are associated with it, and these are also reflective of their emotions pertaining to their family members. That's one thing. Then I would say that thereby they are also carrying our heritage of ideas, like from the Puranas or from the Vedas, whatever we have learnt with regards to water charities and all that. I would say that the Pyaavs are the built form of those kinds of customs and beliefs also. And as far as the architecture is concerned, we will find that many of them have carried their architectural forms of their native places. Like for example, if there was a Gujarati, then he would construct the Pyaav in some kind of Nagar style, or some kind of temples which were there in Gujarat or Kathiawad and all that. And then of course we also have some of the Indo-Saracenic elements that are there. Say for example, as I mentioned about Ratansi Mulji Pyaav, we have got some of the domes which are having the Indo-Saracenic elements. Then we have got some of the cow mouths. Now cow mouth is a very original kind of motif which we have got from Puranic stages, because water coming from cow mouth is considered to be very holy, and we have got such cow mouths. But at the same time, along with the cow mouths, we have got also gargoyles. Now gargoyles is not our belief, but gargoyle was found in the architectural structures of the West. But during colonial period, we have got a very interesting kind of mixing of both these concepts. So the same structure may have cow mouth, lion mouth, at the same time a gargoyle. You will find that more or less the fountains or the Pyaavs that I have seen in other cities outside Mumbai, they are also having more or less the similar motifs. Like for example, the common motifs that we can find is the foliage, because that is connected with the fertility concept. Now fertility can generate only if there is water, and then we have got the symbols like cow mouth or the lion mouth and all that. Interestingly, we will find that in London during the 19th century, when there used to be an exhibition of the antiques from the colonial societies and all that, and we have got exhibition road also, and finally many of such antiques were accumulated in London British Museum, even in Victoria Albert Museum. Now there is one particular fountain in Crawford Market or Jyotiba Phule Mandai today at the entrance, which is considered to be donated by Sir Kovaji Jahangir Reddy Mani. It is quite comparable with a fountain in London. So that has got a particular kind of Gothic structure, and the same has been copied here. But by and by, when I was reading some of the archival documents or some information on the Parsis and all, we will find that Jamshedji Jijibhoi has done donations in the city of Pune also, water charities. But I have not at least seen any document containing as to what these water charities are, and hence I feel that these need to be explored more. When we documented the Pyaavs, they were altogether, including fountains and Pyaavs, there were about 50. But by the time we could complete our search, we found unfortunately some of them already either damaged or destroyed. I can name Fardunji Jijibhoi fountain, which was opposite Bharat Mata signal, and that was ruthlessly one fine day, we understand, got vanished. Now I feel that when we did the city, it was pertaining only to the island city. But beyond island city, say for example in Bandra also we could locate many. These need to be freshly documented. So outside the island zone, within Mumbai also, in the area of today's MCGM, we need to locate many such water charities, and then we should compare at what period of time these water charities came up, whether they were simultaneous happenings or they were little later. And even outside, because see, when we understand the Maratha period, we will find that there were many water charities done by Ahilyabai Holkar, and there were also some of the women from certain Peshwa families who have also donated many tanks and all that. So we have to see whether there were any such small fountains associated with such tanks or so. I am very happy to say that many fountains are getting restored now. I can name some like Devidas Kothari fountain, earlier even Khada Parsi fountain, and the clock tower has been restored. So I feel this is a continuous process. Whatever pyavs or fountains were constructed at that time and which got neglected, maybe for various reasons, now if they get restored, then we will be doing justice to the souls who constructed these fountains.